Picture KOAM News Now.
Right now at 5, authorities in Newton County, Missouri investigate a shooting incident which left 2 people dead.
And we've got more thunderstorms on the way, a few more developing this morning, more expected tonight. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, severe weather has many homeowners have been taking a closer look at their insurance.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOA Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we had those thunderstorms yesterday morning.
Yes.
Thankfully, no severe weather yesterday, which
Right.
is great. We did have some flooding concerns.
Yes.
Coffeyville, we saw some photos from Coffeyville, flooded roadways out there. And now we've got thunderstorms developing once again this morning.
Once again, yes.
Yeah, across the area. So let's get this set up. Let me make sure it's in the right spot here. There it is. Let's take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So here's a look at these storms. Nothing significant out there right now, but we are keeping an eye on them. And if we back this up, even just within the last hour here, you can watch these storms develop. Keeping an eye on this one, though, down here in McDonald County. As you can see, it does look a little more intense, and it's really just kind of gone up pretty hard here in the last several minutes. Again, it is not severe at this point, and we do have a what they call a special weather statement. I wanted to get some information because, like I said, it really went up here in the last 15 minutes. It says it's a strong thunderstorm over Knoll or near Pineville. It's moving northeast at about 40. And it's got wind gusts to 40, and they're saying penny-sized hail at this point. However, at least taking a look at some of the radar estimates, we may be seeing some slightly larger hail within that storm. So we're going to keep a close eye on this one. Pineville, you need to be ready for this storm in case it intensifies. I-49 south of Goodman, right down toward Bella Vista, just to the west. We want to keep a close eye on this because this little cell may not be much, but it is intensifying. We'll keep an eye on that one. And then we've got this positioned wrong, but we've got storms north of Stockton, now rolling out of Osceola, and we're expecting to see more showers and storms develop as we go through the morning hours. So as we head into the afternoon, again, scattered thunderstorms across the area, even isolated storms out there, and it'll be later and we now have a severe thunderstorm warning for McDonald County. Give me just one moment. Abby, I know you're back there. I apologize. I had a feeling about that storm, what was going to happen with it. So we're going to back this radar up for you real quick. A little too far there. Let's get the latest on the severe thunderstorm warning for you guys down in McDonald County. All right, so here's what we've got on this severe thunderstorm warning. This is quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. The storm's still moving northeast at 40. This, of course, includes Interstate 49 between mile markers 1 and 9. And also Big Sugar Creek State Park, Anderson, Knoll, Pineville, Lanigan, Powell, and Rocky Comforts. This severe thunderstorm warning rolling until 5:30 this morning. So we'll keep an eye on these storms as they continue to develop. As we go through the rest of the day, isolated storms still possible, some strong storms possible. Mild start again out there this morning. We're all into the 60s, and we're looking at highs back up around 80, maybe some low 80s, and scattered thunderstorm chances as we head through the day. Better storm chances as we head overnight tonight. We'll break down the details on your full forecast and keep an eye on that storm in McDonald County for you. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. We have an update on the Miami, Oklahoma travel agent who had been accused by former clients of defrauding them. Diane Whifford's company is now facing an eviction. Whifford has been jailed since her arrest last week on charges that she wrote bad checks years ago. We have no word yet on whether she's been charged in the fraud investigation. We've talked with a number of people who claim they paid her thousands of dollars for vacation arrangements that were never made. Now an affidavit has been filed to evict Whifford's company, Whifford Tour and Travel, from 103 East Central Avenue in Miami. Authorities in Newton County are investigating a weekend murder-suicide. They say 62-year-old William Clayton called police Saturday night to report that he had shot his wife several times, and he threatened to shoot himself. When authorities arrived, they found 65-year-old Vicki Clanton dead by gunshot wounds and her husband dead by a single gunshot. A 2-year-old boy is hospitalized following a golf cart crash in Golden, Missouri. The Missouri Highway Patrol says the child was driving the golf cart on private property and crashed into a boulder. The child was taken to Cox Medical Center South in Springfield by Life Flight helicopter. At last report, he was in serious condition. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, in the wake of recent severe weather in the area, many homeowners have been taking a closer look at their insurance. Chris Bryant looks at some recent changes homeowners can expect.
A lot of times people just grab that mail, like, oh, that's junk, I'm gonna throw it in the trash can.
That pile of papers from your insurance company could be notifying you of important changes to your homeowner's policy.
I know one company, they're sending out letters right now raising that wind and hail 1% deductible, and if you don't open that and realize that, and then you have a wind hail claim and you don't know you've got a $3,000 or $5,000 deductible, that could be devastating, to your banking account.
That 1% deductible means if you carry $500,000 in coverage on your home, that new deductible could be as much as $5,000.
So insurance companies, to keep from going broke or leaving the state, being in the negatives, they're actually having the homeowner take on more payment and risk. So before you file a claim, make sure you know exactly what your deductibles are on your wind and hail.
And before you file that claim,
one of the biggest tips I have is especially just don't file a claim because someone climbed on your roof and told you to file a claim. I would call your agent, advise them, and also get a well-known local roofing company to come out and check it out.
the Better Business Bureau says our recent storms make this area a prime target for those looking to make a quick buck.
Anytime there's a storm or any kind of natural disaster, you're going to get scammers and unethical companies following in the wake, so to speak.
And before you commit to a contract,
consumers want to get things taken care of. If you have damage to your home or automobile or anything, you want to get it taken care of, but you don't want to rush into that process. You want to do your research and carefully vet any contractor before you pay them anything or sign any kind of a contract.
And never pay the full amount up front.
When you're working with a contractor, of course, they may need a deposit to get started. So BBB recommends roughly a third down, a third about halfway through, and then a third when the job is completed to your satisfaction.
Before you file a claim on your roof or any other kind of claim with your home insurance agencies, it's best to have somebody like a roofer take a look at the damage. It could be a situation where the cost of the repairs is actually less than the cost of your deductible. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Oklahoma softball tries to advance to the College World Series championship for the 5th season in a row. Plus, some top dogs in the Ecuadorian Army showed off their skills yesterday at a military intelligence brigade ceremony. And thunderstorms stick around. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Pool deserves the best.
Well, fresh off NCAA championships for both the men's and women's track and field teams, Pittsburgh State brings home some more hardware. Hunter Jones is named the Central Region Outdoor Athlete of the Year after winning the heptathlon with the third highest score in D2 history. Kyle Rutledge is named Central Region Men's and Women's Coach of the Year, and Jesse Miller is the Central Region Women's Assistant Coach of the Year in just his second year. Meanwhile, in local collegiate summer baseball, the Nevada Griffins pick up their first win of the season last night. They take Game 2 of a doubleheader 7-4 over the Carroll Merchants after dropping the first one 9-1. Nevada improves to 1-4 on the young season and plays another doubleheader tonight against Warren County. In Division I college softball, only 4 teams are still alive: Texas, Stanford, Oklahoma, and Florida. Sooners try to punch their ticket to the Women's College World Series Finals. Oklahoma versus Florida. If the Sooners win, they advance to the championship. If they lose, these two play again in an elimination game. Top of the second, Riley Boone drives one deep, but Kendra Falby makes the leaping catch. OU down 1-0. Bottom of the second, same score. Falby slaps one down the line. It goes into the corner. Falby goes all the way for an inside the park homer. Florida leads 2-0. Next batter, Skylar Wallace crushes one deep off Nicole May for a solo home run. There it goes. Florida leads 3-0. We go bottom of the fourth, more of the same. So the Gators end up winning 9-3 to snap Oklahoma's 20-game NCAA tournament win streak. That forces a winner-take-all game tonight. Very busy day for D1 college baseball as well. Yesterday was the final day of regionals across the country. Both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State face a situation where a loss ends their season and a win sends them to super regionals. Oklahoma State versus Florida. Winner advances to play Clemson in super regionals. Cowboys start from behind, bottom of the third. Ashton Wilson hits a bloop single into right center. 2 runs will score and the Gators open up a 2-0 lead. OSU trying to avoid losing at home in regionals for a third consecutive year, and this helps the comeback effort. Aiden Miola hits a line drive all the way to the wall in left. The run will score. It's now 2-1. Still a one-run game in the bottom of the sixth. And Florida left fielder Tyler Shelnut blasts a pitch to deep left. And that one is gone, and so is the Cowboys' 2024 season. For the third year in a row, they get knocked out in regionals on their home field. Same deal for Oklahoma baseball. The Sooners need to win to keep their season alive. The Sooners were scoreless until the 9th inning. The Huskies win this one with a final score of 7-1. Well, still to come, a new report shows people with dementia often fall behind on their bills years before they're diagnosed. Plus, we had thunderstorms and one severe thunderstorm warning out there this morning. The latest on your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Greg Kelly, Vice President of Operations.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 5:17 now on this Tuesday morning. We do have thunderstorms developing across the area once again this morning, and we do have a severe thunderstorm warning down in McDonald County that'll continue for about the next 13 minutes until 5:30. So far the warning has been updated as they're indicating at least ping pong ball size hail. A little earlier, we were actually picking up on radar what could have been upwards of 2-inch in diameter hail. So ping pong ball size hail is about 1.5 inches, and we can actually take a look at the hail sizes here. So we'll do a quick check on some of the brighter colors. So yeah, Doppler radar here is still indicating at least ping pong ball size hail with this storm. So as you can see, it's rolling just south of Pineville. Pineville did report some dime size hail as this storm got a little closer. It's rolling over I-49 and parts of Old 71 out there. So if you're traveling this morning, be aware there's some fairly large hail with this storm as it now is moving to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So far though, this is the only severe thunderstorm we have. We have some storms just to the east of El Dorado Springs, north of Stockton, getting ready to get into Humansville and Wobolo. Nothing severe with this activity, but it also flared up rather quickly. In fact, it flared up before the storm in McDonald County did. And if we put this in motion over the last few hours, you can see how these storms have flared up pretty quickly, but so far they seem to be confined to this line. So we're hoping any additional development excuse me, will stick to our east. But we do have that possibility of scattered thunderstorms as we head through the morning with better chances overnight tonight. So we do have a low-end severe risk out there. It does include a low tornado threat for a good portion of southeastern Kansas, a low hail risk and a low wind risk for everybody else across the area. And here's what we're looking at in terms of thunderstorms. Again, today, through the majority of the day, they should be relatively isolated to widely scattered. Here's future track at noon, with most of this activity still along the same boundary that seems to be setting off the storms this morning, staying in the eastern portions of our area. Isolated to widely scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder out there, and some of these storms could be strong, perhaps low-grade severe, but our better chances are going to come after about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. We're going to see more thunderstorms begin to develop, and they're going to become a much more widespread in coverage as we go overnight tonight. That's where our greater chances of seeing strong to severe thunderstorms will be, is late tonight into very early tomorrow morning. That's not to say, again, that the storms through today couldn't pick up some intensity, but the better chances for more organized activity will be overnight tonight. On our Wednesday, though, once we get rid of those showers, the rest of of our day looks great. Skies begin to clear out. We'll be partly cloudy, maybe even mostly clear, and getting warm as temperatures start heading up into the mid-80s as we get a little more sunshine out there for us. And we'll get a break from this activity over the next couple of days. Partly cloudy in Joplin right now, 67. South-southwest breeze at 9. Dew point 62. Humidity is 84%. And temperatures around the area, not as warm as they were yesterday, but still not bad. Mid-upper 60s across the area, a couple of low 60s here and there. Cassville, Monette, Iola, for example, back into the low 60s. So we get our morning started. Again, isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. A couple of strong storms or even low-grade severe storms will be possible, so we'll monitor that for you. We'll be about 73 by 11 o'clock. Highs today similar to yesterday. We're going to go upper 70s to low 80s. And we'll have those morning storms clearing out for Wednesday, mid-80s. Not a bad Thursday or Friday, maybe even Saturday, all right. Thunderstorm chances moving back a day for the weekend, so maybe a decent Saturday. Thunderstorms return, though, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
I've been with U.S. Cellular.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new report shows people who develop dementia often fall behind on their bills years before they're diagnosed with the disease. A team of economists and medical experts in the United States examined Medicare records with information from the credit bureau Equifax. They studied how people's borrowing behavior changed in the years before and after they were diagnosed with Alzheimer's or a similar disease. Researchers found a year before people were diagnosed, more than 17% were likely to be late on their mortgage payments than before the onset of the disease, and people were 34% more likely to not pay their credit card bills on time. The study found evidence of people falling behind on their payments as much as 5 years before doctors diagnosed them with Alzheimer's. A Georgetown University economist was one of the study's authors and called the research striking. It was a highly contentious day on Capitol Hill as Dr. Anthony Fauci testifies to a House Select Subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic. The former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases retired in 2022, but his role in the nation's response to the pandemic and accusations that he contributed to its cause or tried to cover it up have been the focus of a 15-month Republican-led investigation. Laura Aguirre brings us more on yesterday's bitterly divided lines of questioning.
I want to thank you for your decades of public service. I'm sorry about the threats that you have received.
A cordial greeting soon eroded into partisan tensions.
Americans were aggressively bullied, shamed, and silenced for merely questioning or debating issues such as social distancing, masks, vaccines, or the origins of COVID.
The people who brought you the political big lie now bring you the medical big lie, making the outlandish claim that Dr. Fauci was responsible for causing COVID-19.
Monday's public hearing follows closed-door testimony Dr. Anthony Fauci gave House lawmakers in January on the nation's COVID-19 response. He was grilled again on issues like social distancing.
The burdensome 6-foot social distancing rule did not have sufficient scientific report. In your words, it just sort of appeared.
When I said that it just appeared, it appeared. What I meant by no science behind it is that there wasn't a controlled trial that said compare 6 foot with 3 feet with 10 feet.
An answer seized on by other panel members.
Making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children. Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci?
Dr. Fauci repeatedly denied claims by some Republicans that he covered up the origins of the pandemic and stood by his former testimony that the COVID-19 virus was most likely a natural occurrence, not created in a Chinese lab. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are continuing to track thunderstorms developing across the area. Not many out there, but we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning in McDonald County until 5:30 this morning. We'll have the latest on your forecast when we come back.
Live streaming.
Right now at 5:30, the city of Fort Scott has some questions concerning the future of the baseball team and league.
And we've got some isolated thunderstorms out there this morning. One severe thunderstorm warning for the next about 45 seconds. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Joplin Public Schools host an in-person summer school enrollment session.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we've got some thunderstorms out there this morning. We had a severe thunderstorm warning in McDonald County, but the good news is that is set to expire here in about 15 seconds. So let's start with a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. And you can see where we have these thunderstorms out there. And we have that severe thunderstorm warning down in McDonald County. And it again is set to expire here in just a few seconds. Some good news. The latest reports is that it is weakening, so they're not, and there goes that warning. They're not anticipating a new warning at this time, but it is still a strong thunderstorm, winds up to 40.5-inch hail. So we still will continue to monitor it in case it begins to re-intensify. And you can see a decent storm into parts of eastern Ottawa County, starting to roll into southwestern Newton County. Neosho, get ready for this one. Again, not severe, but some heavy rain and quite a bit of lightning with that particular storm. And this activity beginning to exit our area now to the north and northeast of Stockton, right along 54. No severe weather with this, but some fairly heavy rain and quite a bit of lightning. So here's what we're looking at. Over the last few hours, you can see how quickly these storms flared up. So far, they are confined to a boundary right about this point. So out west, you're staying clear. But as we head through the afternoon and into tonight, we'll see more thunderstorm development take place. These will be isolated to widely scattered. Not nearly as much thunderstorm activity as what we saw yesterday morning. But some of these storms through the evening could be strong to low-grade severe, but better chances will come as we head into the overnight hours tonight. So that said, we do have a low tornado threat for parts of southeastern Kansas, or a good portion of it, and then a low wind and hail risk for the rest of the area out there as well with some of these storms. Temperatures this morning, mid-upper 60s across the region. So again, another fairly decent start to the day. And as we go through the day, isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms with those chances increasing overnight tonight. Highs similar to yesterday, upper 70s and low 80s. Of course, we'll continue to monitor these storms and bring you the latest on any warnings, if any more are issued. Elise?
All right, we'll check in with you soon, Chris. The city of Fort Scott, Kansas is requesting information regarding an announced baseball team called the Fort Scott Marshals. Last week, a press release announced the creation of the Fort Scott Marshals, who would play in the Central Plains Baseball League. But city officials say they were not aware of the announcement and have not signed on. The city has released a statement saying that while they hope to have a summer league, they want to make sure it's a legit league and a good fit for the city. While there is an actual Central Plains Baseball League for Kansas high schools, anyone approached by a representative from the Central Plains Baseball League is encouraged to contact the Fort Scott city manager. A man who says he is on the board of directors for the league says they put out the releases to draw attention to the league, but still have more work to do.
We're working on our website and getting built, and we're working on the team sites to get built. And we're working on getting social media up going for the team. So it's taking a process. It's taking a process, you know, like people say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and a league's not going to be built in one day. So,
according to the representative with the league, teams would play 58 games over the summer season. He says the first games will be in May 2025. The Joplin City Council last night gave preliminary approval to a tax exemption agreement for the new proposed Woodsonia development. Last night was the first reading for a tax agreement for the proposed Prospect Village. It's a $375 million mixed-use land development project near Home Depot. If built, it would be the largest project in Joplin since the opening of the North Park Mall in 1972. It would include both an indoor and outdoor sports complex, parkland, and a trail with water features, retail space, multifamily housing, hotels, and additional retail spaces. The TIF proposition would have to pass second and third readings to get final approval. Council members also heard a presentation from Avita Nova Village. The nonprofit group hopes to acquire surplus property from the city in order to build a village of tiny homes for people in need in Joplin. For more information on the council meeting, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin Schools is offering in-person assistance for families who want to enroll for the coming school year. The district is employing 2 secretaries who will help families handle registration from yesterday through July 29th. You can find those secretaries in the main front door reception area at Joplin High School, and you can get more details at KOAMnewsnow.com. Ron McDonald House Charities of the 4 states yesterday received a donation from local High-Speco employees. They gave just under $2,400. It's the first of 4 checks that High-Speco plans to present throughout the year. Employees will also commit to volunteer service as well as the monetary contributions.
Just the opportunity to give back. I mean, organizations and nonprofits, we know that they operate on a tight budget a lot of times. So if we succeed as a company, we want to help them succeed in their missions. And so for our organization, it's been a lot of employees love the idea of giving back to the individual communities.
In last year's partnership with Ronald McDonald House of the 4 states, High-Speco gave more than $10,000 to the charity. A blast from the very distant past in Webb City. Dinosaur Dimension, an educational summer program, brings dinosaurs back from the past. The program shows 4 different dinosaurs and allows the kids to name each one. After getting to meet the animatronic creatures, children are taught the wonders of reading at your local library.
As I said, again, it's just for the community and just getting people to know about the library and just knowledge and just things to do.
Workers say the library creates a perfect safe place for readings and got a few little jump scares along the way. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. People in India scramble for waters as record-breaking temperatures sweep across the country. Plus, the new Prime Minister of Haiti was sworn in yesterday. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, some top dogs in the Ecuadorian army showed off their skills yesterday at a military intelligence brigade ceremony. The dogs, Belgian and German shepherds named Daco, Amanda, Apollo, Mali, and Zeus, were said to have played a crucial role in fighting organized crime in the country. The ceremony comes months after a declaration was presented allowing Ecuador's military to take part alongside police in tasks controlling public order and searches on the streets and in prisons. Ecuador has seen a hike in criminal gang violence in the last few years linked to cartels in Mexico and Colombia. A new Prime Minister of Haiti was sworn in yesterday. Gary Conile, a UN development specialist, is tasked with restoring order to the troubled country. A short swearing-in ceremony was held in the capital of Port-au-Prince. Conile faces a monumental task. Haiti is under siege by gangs who control at least 80% of Port-au-Prince. The country is still waiting for the UN-backed deployment of a police force from Kenya to try to bring an end to the violence that's tearing the country apart. Well, Spanish and French farmers block a highway on their border to protest European Union environmental policies. Dozens of farmers displayed large banners on the French side of the border yesterday and vowed to stay there all night. This demonstration taking place a week before European elections. Farmers want to recall protests from January and February where they held rallies against EU agricultural policies, demanding more support and simpler regulations. Farmers argue the EU's policies, like the Green Deal, call for limits on the use of chemicals and greenhouse gas emissions, which they say limits their business and rise the price of their products. A larger protest is scheduled for today in Brussels. People in India scramble for water as record-breaking temperatures sweep across the country's north. At least 200 people have died from heat stroke across the country. The Indian Meteorological Department alerting the area and schools closed early. Residents lining up for hours in anticipation of the water truck's arrival, but they say the water is not fit for human consumption as it is often dirty. April through June are hot in most of India before monsoon season comes and brings cooler temperatures. The extreme heat comes as residents line up to cast ballots in a 6-week-long general election. This week marks 80 years since D-Day. Veterans of the historic battle, which turned the tides of World War II, are traveling to France to commemorate it. President Biden plans to speak there as well. As correspondent Connor Hansen has more from New York.
80 years ago, the largest armada ever assembled reached Nazi-occupied France. Tens of thousands of Allied troops landed by parachute and by ship, facing heavy defenses on the beaches of Normandy. Now, U.S. veterans, some 100 years old, are landing again, this time greeted by cheers from those hoping to keep their stories alive.
You wouldn't believe what I've seen.
Can you tell us anything?
Terrible. Some of the young fellas never even made the beach. It was so bad that we had to run over to get on the beach. That's how bad it was.
For some of the centenarians, it could be one of their last visits to the hallowed ground.
We did our job and we came home, and that's it. We never talked about it. For 70 years, I didn't talk about it. I got the French Legion of Honor.
During their visit, they will join parades and visit schools to share their war stories with students. French officials honored the veterans who came to their country's aid and changed the course of World War II. The anniversary comes as world leaders navigate wars in Europe and the Middle East.
Your presence here reminds us that behind the monumental scale of D-Day are real people, individuals, each with their own stories.
President Biden will travel to France this week to commemorate D-Day and deliver a speech about the importance of freedom and democracy. He's also planning to meet with French President Emmanuel Macron.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:45 now on this Tuesday morning. We're taking a live look from MoDOT camera down in Neosho, where we've got a thunderstorm just rolling into the city. Most of the lightning on this storm is still off to your west, and there is some small hail, but thankfully at this point it is not a severe storm, and we can actually even see it from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. The main complex is starting to shift just out of frame here, but we've seen quite a bit of lightning. Now, the lightning counter only has about 11 actual strikes. That's still quite a few, but compared to what we've seen in the clouds, it seems to be a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning, but regardless, still dangerous and deadly with that lightning. So here's a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. This activity rolling on out of here. We've got this storm was severe earlier this morning in McDonald County, has weakened a bit, but we'll continue to monitor it as it continues to shift to the east, now rolling towards Seligman, just south of Cassville, with some small hail. The small hail right over Seneca right now. That's where the greatest concentration of lightning is. And Neosho, again, you're getting some rain, but you've got heavier rain and, again, some small hail on the way. This thing's almost traveling right along US 60 at this point, staying south of Joplin. And then this activity, again, continuing to roll out of our area here now to the southeast of Osceola. And it will continue to move out. All of this activity flaring up in the last few hours right along this boundary off of this main complex of storms, which is staying well to our south and moving away. But it is still sending off some energy and some weak waves that are giving us some thunderstorm chances through this morning. Now, we do have the possibility of some strong, potentially low-grade severe thunderstorms. We do have a low tornado risk across a good portion of southeastern Kansas. And then we have a low wind and hail risk across the entire area. We could see some strong storms this afternoon and even this morning, as we saw with that severe storm in McDonald County, but the better chances for more organized activity will be later tonight. So here we are on the future track as we head into noon, some scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. If we see any thunderstorms, again, a strong, maybe low-grade severe thunderstorm will be possible, but this is going to be very isolated to widely scattered through the afternoon. By about 8, 9 o'clock, that's when we start in southeastern Kansas to see initial storm development, and all of this activity will slide through the area overnight and start exiting the region by early tomorrow morning, and that'll leave the rest of our Wednesday looking pretty good, but we do have to watch those storms tonight across the area. Quick look outside in Joplin. Again, we've been watching that storm down to the south. 67. South-southwest breeze at 9. Temperatures around the area, we're all in the mid to upper 60s, a couple of low 60s here and there, but otherwise a pretty decent start to the day, at least temperature-wise. We'll have isolated to scattered thunderstorms through the morning hours and be about 73 by 11 o'clock this morning, and that's ahead of highs today. Once again, like yesterday, upper 70s and low 80s, and once we get those storms out of here tomorrow, we're going to go mid-80s, partly cloudy. We'll go mid-80s, even upper 80s Thursday and Friday. Saturday, looking a bit better. Storm chances moving back a day, but still watching thunderstorm chances next Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Help them out.
Entertainment news now, beginning with a movie monster with a monstrous appetite. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Has to be a reason they're after us.
The official trailer is out for Venom: The Last Dance, the third and supposedly final film about the man merged with a rage-fueled alien symbiote. Tom Hardy returns as the frazzled human host when Venom: The Last Dance hits theaters October 25th.
There's a room full of smart people.
Colman Domingo is joining Tina Fey and Steve Carell in The Four Seasons. The Oscar nominee will have a regular role in the comedy series adaptation of the 1981 film. Production is set to begin later this year. You'd scream too if you'd been running for a quarter century. Run Lola Run is racing back into theaters for its 25th anniversary. A 4K restoration of the award-winning film opens in select theaters Friday. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, travelers in Texas were blown away, thankfully not literally, by a pair of tornadoes spotted outside an airport. And the whole thing was caught on camera before they ran for cover. Jeremy Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
Severe weather that slammed parts of Texas resulted in a pair of surreal moments caught on camera as the storms barreled through. First in Hearst, where a homeowner captured shocking moments as the turbulent weather caused a series of sparks and explosions on a pair of power lines. And then over to Midland, where travelers at an airport witnessed not one, but two tornadoes churning side by side in the distance. The area was only one of several counties that were under tornado warnings, and eventually the airport eyewitnesses were directed to seek shelter in the basement and reported the facility lost power and eventually closed. A popular tourist spot in Iceland had to be evacuated due to renewed volcanic activity near the world-famous Blue Lagoon. Lava flow cut off roads and forced officials to evacuate the area, but they say the situation is improving and is less severe than originally feared. With all this chaotic activity on Earth, wouldn't it be nice to get away? How about to the most distant galaxy ever spotted? No, not that. This. Yep. That's Jade's GS Z14-0, and according to astronomers, it's the most distant and ancient galaxy ever found, and they have the good old Webb Space Telescope to thank for capturing it on camera. They placed the galaxy's age at a mere 290 million years after the Big Bang, and despite how tiny it appears in the image, they say for a galaxy so far, far away, it's surprisingly bright. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Mother Nature has definitely been in full force lately. Stick around. We'll be right back.
6 Theater in downtown Webb City.
3 Andean bear cubs make their debut at a zoo in Queens, New York. The cubs are the newest inhabitants at the Queens Zoo and are considered rare since Andean bears usually only have 1 or 2 cubs at a time. They were born in January, 2 males and 1 female, and are cared for by their mother for now. Once fully grown, males will eventually tip the scales at 340 pounds and females will grow to be about 200 pounds. Now that the cubs are old enough to venture outdoors, they can be visited at the zoo all summer. Now heading south in New Orleans, Zoo welcomes some new additions. 2 twin screaming hairy armadillo pups had been added to their facility. The cute creatures, which have a visible layer of thin hair along their backs, are also known for their scream-like screeches that they project when they feel threatened. Those here at the zoo welcome the pups. The pair are the first screaming hairy armadillo pups to be born in the U.S. since 2018.
And we've got opportunities for scattered showers and thunderstorms through the morning. A strong to low-grade severe thunderstorm or 2 is possible, but the better chances will be late tonight, 73 by 11 o'clock. Again, isolated to widely scattered storms and a strong storm or 2 possible. And we'll go into the upper 70s and low 80s into the afternoon. Then as we head about after 8 o'clock, that's when thunderstorm chances will begin to increase, beginning in southeastern Kansas. And again, this is where our opportunity for some more organized storms, the possibility of some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms will begin to increase overnight tonight. We'll fall back into the upper 60s for our lows. As we head to tomorrow, a few of these storms, maybe a few showers lingering toward about sunrise. And then as we go into the late morning and afternoon, we'll begin to clear out. So the rest of our Wednesday looks pretty good. Partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, mid-80s, mid to upper 80s Thursday and Friday, and dry and sunny. A few clouds on Saturday, but otherwise looking to be dry. Storm chances moving back a day, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as we head into the start of next week. Temperatures into the 80s and not bad next Wednesday and Thursday, but at least we'll finally get a break from the showers this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's a check of your forecast. We've got a whole nother hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.